Welcome to the Restaurant Revitalization Fund video. Well, now we know COVID has been a major storm in our lives, hasn't it? I remember March of 2020 last year that it was a storm on the horizon, just like we see in the picture here. Didn't look that bad. I figured, you know what? Okay, it's just getting to the U.S. As long as we listen to the health officials, 6 months, this should be past us. And we're looking at over a year now. And we're just starting to get a handle on it. Alrighty. Now, what you need to know is who is eligible for this restaurant revitalization grant. Because if you're not eligible for it, then of course you don't need to waste your time with it. We're going to cover that in this video. Also, what kind of documentation do you need? I mean, seriously, you sit here and you go, okay, I'm eligible. Now I'm going to spend this time learning about it, and I'm going to go ahead and apply for this grant, but then you miss a form. And they will not forgive you on that. They won't ask for the form to correct it. They'll just take your application and toss it. So let's make sure that if you're eligible, we get the right documentation. And also, how much are you going to qualify for? That's pretty important. Well, just want to go ahead and cover all that in this video. My name is Bob Ratcliffe. I'm CEO of Four Sacred Directions and Media Marketing Ninja. I have several companies throughout the years, and the one we have is environmental services for mold remediation, radon testing for commercial sites, also MMRP, which is military ammunition removal, even nuclear tipped missiles, but we also handle administration and accounting and tax strategy and financial planning, all these things. It's a pretty large company. We go ahead and we bid on government contracts. We win them, we fulfill them. But this is really important because this is a chance to give back to the business owners out there with restaurants, breweries, and pubs and coffee shops. And we want to be able to explain what's going on here. Now, if you're too busy, you can use our services. If not, don't worry about it. We're just going to try to share everything that you need to know here. Okay, the Restaurant Revitalization Fund. It starts May 3rd, 2021, which is on a Monday. And we're going to cover the total scope of the grant. Hopefully, this will be released Friday on April 30th. So everybody can start seeing this video and getting ready. If you're seeing this after the fact, you still have time. We're looking at probably about 2 months before the funds run out. It sounds like a lot of money, but it's going to go pretty quick. Okay, now the grant description. What we're going to do is say, what is it? Let's go ahead and cover that really quick so we know where it's coming from. The American Rescue Plan Act, ARPA, became public law March 11th, 2021. That's the same month everybody got laid off, and established the RRF, which is the abbreviation for the Restaurant Revitalization Fund. ARPA appropriated $10 billion in the beginning, and then Congress looked at it and says, oh, this is not going to be enough. We got to jack that up a little bit. So they raised it up to $28.6 billion for the RRF, and they authorized SBA to award these funds. So you can actually put your application on the SBA website, Small Business Administration, or you can put it through your POS. The appropriations remain available until expended, which will go fast. Like I said, 28.6 billion sounds like a lot, but with all the struggling businesses out there, I figured less than 2 months, it will be gone. The fund must be used for eligible uses no later than March 11th, 2023. So just to go ahead and give you a heads up, you don't prepay anything. You get the money, and every month you pay your lease, you pay your employees, and you move forward. But do not prepay. That's not allowed, because if you do happen to go out of business, the U.S. government wants their money back, the part of it you didn't use. So this is here to help you make it and to help your employees support their families and everything. Now, the most important part is who is eligible. Eligible entities are businesses that are not permanently closed. Now, the government, the mayor might have came in and say, we got to shut your business down right now. So it was temporary closed, but as soon as they lift restrictions, you're able to reopen. A lot of businesses couldn't handle that, and they ended up closing permanently and claiming bankruptcy. For those, you're not eligible. So if you're not permanently closed or you've reopened, and this also includes businesses where the public or the patrons assemble for the primary purpose of being served food and drink. Restaurants, food stands, food trucks, and carts. Food trucks, a lot of the restaurants went to food trucks, and they've been pretty successful with it when the government sat there and said, okay, we don't want anybody inside the restaurant. So you're still eligible for this grant. Caterers, bars, saloons, lounges, taverns, snack and non-alcoholic beverage bars, such as coffee shops or ice cream shops. Now, the next ones I want to mention, what they're going to want is on-site sales to the public that comprise of at least 33% of the gross receipts. You know, for part of the time, the dining rooms are closed, but also the other part, they were open. So the government wants to see at least 33% of those gross receipts were from inside your establishment, such as the bakeries, the brew pubs, tasting rooms, your tap rooms, your breweries, and my favorite, the wineries. At least 33% of gross receipts will be eligible if you fulfill that requirement. Inns, licensed facility or premises of a beverage alcoholic producer where the public may sample or purchase. Place, primary purpose of being served food or drink. Those that are ineligible, once you see that you're ineligible, no need to watch the rest of this video, so we want to get this in pretty quick. As of March 13th, 2020, owns or operates, together with any affiliated business, more than 20 locations, regardless of whether these locations do business under the same or different names or industries. If they all belong to you and you have more than 20 locations, I'm sorry, you're ineligible. And don't think that you're going to go ahead and close down anything over 20 and still go ahead and apply for this. The government will come back and slap your hands for doing that. State or local government operated business has a pending application for or has received a shuttered venue operations grant, you're ineligible. Public traded companies are ineligible. And again, let's remind you the permanently closed ones. Nonprofit organizations are ineligible. Not eligible for funding or at least $1,000. What that means is that after you figure out what your funding is going to be from your gross receipts from 2019 and 2020, if it doesn't add up to more than $1,000, you're too small for this grant and they will not grant it. You have to get at least $1,000 or more back in order to be able to qualify for this. Okay, now the eligible applicants must be one of the following, because this is what's on the application. C corporations, S corporations. If you noticed, in parentheses next to those is B corporations. That's because they don't have a spot for B corporations. So if you're a B corporation, you need to talk to your accountant and find out what your tax structure is. If it's along the lines of a C or S corporation, that's the one you want to pick. Partnerships. Those are a little touchy. There's what they call a K1 form. Make sure that's filed in with the partnership. Otherwise, they will not take your application. They'll trash it. Limited liability companies, sole proprietors, self-employed individuals, and a really important one, independent contractors. You guys take advantage of this quickly. Tribal businesses, LLC taxed as S corporations or sole corporation or sole proprietors. Sorry about that. Getting tongue twisted. Also, the first 21 days that this is open, it is catering to the minorities or the socially disadvantaged, economically disadvantaged companies out there. So they have a chance to be able to get money. After 21 days, then it goes on to the rest of the businesses out there. And what's really cool about this program, when we're looking it over with the accountants and getting ready for this, and gearing up and reading through all the rules and regulations. Number one is you don't need to register in sam.gov. And number two, what sets it apart from the other SBA programs is you're not required a DUNS or a CAGE identifier. Usually if you have all these, you're like our four sacred directions, you're bidding on government contracts, and you got to be registered with all these. Number three, a valid, unexpired ITINs are acceptable. So not bad. Okay, the documentation required, very important. Listen closely. Take notes or take a screenshot of this. Verification for tax information. IRS form 4506-T. Not 4506, but a 4506-T. Again, you get the wrong form, they will kick your application out. There's no second chances. Complete it and signed by the applicant, which is you. And if you want us to do this and you don't have enough time, we can do it. And we usually do everything through DigiSign. So you just PDF everything over to us, and whatever we need signed, we'd put it in that, send you an email, and you sign off. Business tax returns, IRS form 1120 or IRS form 1120-S. IRS forms 1040 Schedule C. IRS forms 1040 Schedule F. For partnerships, partnership IRS form 1065, and again, I put in parentheses, do not forget to include the K1s. Your bank statements, you just go to your business bank account online, click on Bank Statements 2019, download as PDF. 2020, download as PDF, bam, you're done. Externally or internally prepared financial statements, such as your income statement or the profit and loss statements. Point of sale report, including IRS form 1099-K. I hope that's helpful. Now, the monies that are going to be set aside for this, it's changed, of course, since they first came out with this, because they started out with $10 billion and then they raised up to $28.6 billion at the last minute. So this is going to be a little bit off, because on gross receipts, if you have a company that you're going to get at least $500,000 back in funding that you do not have to pay back, that you can apply towards your business till March of 2023, they set aside $5 billion in the beginning for those businesses. For the businesses that qualify for just over 500,000 all the way up to 1.5 million, they set aside $4 billion for those businesses. Now here's the thing, they changed it. Now with those 20 locations or less, you're only allowed up to 5 million per location with a maximum rate of 10 million. So if you qualify for 10 million, of course, 4 billion is not going to last long. But again, I'll tell you that here in a minute. And for the businesses that don't qualify for more than $50,000 back, of course, you got to go over 1,000. But if you don't go over 50,000, they started off with 500 million that's been earmarked for those businesses, just like yours, if you fall into that category. But the director has leniency, because now it's 28.6 billion. They can direct that, the rest of that money, into whichever one of these categories starts taking the lead. They can make sure the funding stays there for them. Okay, application start date. We're looking at May 3rd, Monday. So now what? Immediately drop everything you're doing. This takes precedence. Get your documentation together now. Get your tax forms together now. Get some copies of the application downloaded. Get on the bank website. Start downloading your bank statements. Get all that pulled out immediately, so that way you have it all in hand. You pull the application off the SBA website come Monday morning. Pull out several copies of it. Fill out the first one, go back, start doing revisions, corrections, look at it, and then refill it out again. Make sure all the forms are the correct forms. Again, I can't tell you how important it is. They will not ask you to correct the application. They will not ask for the correct form if it's not filled out right. If you miss in a form or the wrong form, they immediately just will dump it in the trash. So please make sure, double check, triple check. Have your accountant check your work. if the accountant's doing it, you check the accountant's work. Just make sure it's, you've done everything possible, that, there's nothing left unturned. And then submit it on the SBA website immediately. Your POS system, they might even have on their website a place where you can submit the application. So you can check there too, like with square.com. Now, if you're too busy to deal with it, I know running a business, especially this day and age with COVID and trying to stay up with federal regulations, you might just be going, you know what, I'm stressed out enough. I have too much to deal with. I'd like my accountant to do this, but he's dealing with 260 other businesses, so he doesn't have time. Just contact us. That's all you got to do. It's like I'm doing this video, we're putting it out there, but my tech guys, I don't know what they're going to do with the video. They might have a box fly into the window asking for your name and email, or they might have a website for you to go to, or email to respond to, or even a phone number. Could possibly even be down into the description area. But yeah, just contact us. We'll take care of you. Our accountants are all set up, ready to go. We'll give you a call with any questions after we review all your material. We'll fill out the application and use the correct tax forms. Our accountants have what we call peer review. Once they're done, they'll have another accountant look over it. Once we see that everything is good, we'll even package that up and send it to you and ask for your review within 24 hours, just so you have a peace of mind and you can see that it's been done properly and efficiently. And then we'll submit it on the SBA website immediately and notify you of that. So that concludes our video on the Restaurant Revitalization Fund. To contact us to help you, just email us, or again, just check in the description, and we'll get through this together. God bless, Godspeed. Just take care of your family, and let's say a little prayer that everybody gets taken care of and the families are taken care of.